events and move a little bit more towards like now communicating with you guys. I know there's a lot of rules and regulations behind when girls can and can't talk to you guys as coaches. Those specifics, I don't want to get into as much. I think more importantly, I just want to kind of talk about the best ways in which players can connect with you guys as coaches. One thing I just want to touch on, like, in terms of players reaching out to you guys via email, like when do you guys kind of focus on recruiting real quick throughout the year, and what's the best way for a player to reach out to you to maybe just like see if you guys are interested in them at all, or you want to go watch them play? I know it can be pretty different, how your recruiting timetable is in the fall compared to the spring, because you guys are really engrossed in your seasons. So maybe we'll start with Coach TK or Coach Lee in regards to when you guys focus on recruiting and the best way for players to kind of get in touch with you guys.
Go ahead, Coach Lee.
Thanks, TK. Sure. So our big recruiting seasons are in the fall and the summer, and typically in the spring we reserve that time solely for our team. So what's been helpful, and I think each coach is different. So for us, though, we have the online recruiting software called Front Rush, where if you attend a tournament and you use the same information to fill out our online recruit questionnaire as you do for that tournament, usually it syncs. And so when we go to the tournament, we know, like, okay, TK is attending, Kevin is attending, like, good, we can go and like find them on the fields. But there are times when for some reason the sync doesn't happen, either because the athlete used a different email address or maybe they're just not in our online recruit questionnaire. So it is helpful for us to get an email before the tournament. And there are coaches out there who are like, you don't need to email me, I will find you. So I think it's give or take. If you don't hear back from a coach, don't be offended. They just get so many emails, and sometimes it is impossible to give you a response. But it doesn't hurt you to at least shoot the email out there, so now there's that name recognition. So I'm like, oh, it's TK again, great, But joking aside, it's very helpful to get those emails before the tournament. Summertime, I think especially that's when all the events are happening. So just let us know if we don't get back to you. Don't take that personally. That's not a reflection of our interest in you.
Great.
Just to add to that, we try to get back to almost every player, really every player that emails us in one way or another. A lot of times, one of the things I want to always be known for is being honest, because honesty is one of our pillars in our program, and so honesty. So, we do, write back to players, hey, right now, we're not very interested, or hey, thanks for your interest, like, we're really looking forward to watching you play. But also, the younger they are, we can't even respond. So, like Coach Lee said, just email. If you're interested, show your interest. It will be our choice to, as a coach, to do whatever we want with it. But if you're interested, you go after what you want.
Great. Is there anything that you guys have come across, and Bob, you too, coaching over at SUNY Westbury, are there any like turn-offs, red flags that you see sometimes in the process? I know one the other day we talked about how parents speaking for their kids was one. Is there anything else that you kind of come across in your experience?
Yeah, I don't know about like specific things so much, but you do want kids to speak for themselves, for them to be the ones communicating with the coaches. I just think that's the right way to do it. They need to be, becoming adults and handle this on their own. Obviously their parents are going to be helping them and guiding them, hopefully, and that's fine. But this is kind of one of those areas, I think, where they really need to be at least on the way to growing up and dealing with the parents, dealing with the coaches, at a prospective school, at least somewhat on their own. Obviously, they may not drive themselves there, or but as far as the communication goes,
yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys feel that way, or can you always tell when a parent writes an email?
100%.
Their English is better. When you talk about parent involvement, I mean, honestly, parents need to be, their daughter's biggest fan. That's what they need to be. They need to be the one that's supportive at a tailgate. If it's your turn to bring brownies, bring the brownies and the best brownies you can possibly bring. If it's, but in all honesty, talking about playing time, talking about strategy, talking about some different things, that sometimes can be, and again, I've been doing this for a long time. I've had some parents that have been awesome about it, and then I've had some other parents, believe it or not, parents that are in your face, that are trying to tell you exactly what you need to do in order to be, for your team to be successful. And so, yeah, that would be a red flag. If you can see that early in the recruiting process, that would be one of those big red flags, I think.
Sure. And in our program over the last 5-6 years, or at least as long as I've been involved in some of the recruiting process for some of the girls in our program here, I've just seen just allowing players to communicate with coaches in general, and just how much they mature and how much they kind of learn about themselves, and you can just kind of see it in them, from the time they're in, let's say, 9th grade, and you just say hello to them at a clinic, to the time they're now a junior after they've talked to some coaches and built relationships. They're just they kind of start coming out of their shell, and they're more vocal and they're more confident. And we love seeing that as a program. That's something that we want our parents to help guide our players through as well, because if FLG is the only one kind of stoking our girls to come out of their shells and communicate, then that's not enough. It's only once a week really that we get to work with our girls throughout the year. But if we can allow our families to really give our girls an opportunity to communicate and step up and go from being young ladies to women, then that's something that's great to see and rewarding. Yeah. What's that?
Still rolling.
We're still rolling. All right. Awesome.
Can I just interject
Yeah,
one thing
sure.
that I learned at the
convention?
weekend? Yeah, it was that Kathy Weiss from Maryland made a good point. She said 3.7 girls lacrosse players have lacrosse scholarships. So I think kids go into this thinking that they're going to get a lacrosse scholarship, and I think they need to kind of maybe touch on how they kind of spread the wealth amongst their teams.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that actually might be.
I didn't.
Yeah. So we have it a little bit later, but a fully funded Division I team, right? For the girls, is 12 scholarships.
Right, TK? 12 scholarships?
Yep.
12 scholarships, and that's
How many girls are on your roster?
for your whole team.
28 right now, but that's a small roster.
Right. So 28 on the small side. Would you say 35 to 36 girls? Probably bigger roster.
Well, I think if we're talking about every program, I think 32 is probably an average Division I program now.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's not a lot of scholarship money to be up amongst every single one of those girls. Is a really good point. There's obviously a lot of nuances as it relates to academics and athletic money, depending on what division you kind of fall into, but there is some opportunity out there to get academic money as well, and there's actually a lot more opportunity too. So that's why it's really important. That's something that we stress at FLG, to focus on your on your academics and your grades, so that way you have more opportunities as you kind of move through the process. It's not going to be all about how good you are as an athlete or lacrosse player. It's also tied into how hard you've worked in the classroom and built that academic resume. So